At 80, Tom Selleck finally tells the truth about Sally Field. Tom Selleck was born Thomas William Selleck on January 29, 1945, in Detroit, Michigan, and raised in Southern California. From an early age, he showed natural athletic skill and an easy confidence that would later become big parts of how he looked and acted on screen. Tall, broad-shouldered, and friendly, Selleck first went after sports instead of acting, earning a basketball scholarship to the University of Southern California. There, he studied business administration while playing at a high level, showing discipline and commitment, things that would later help him a lot in Hollywood. Acting was not something he wanted right away. Like many young guys back then, Selleck's life was shaped by service and responsibility. He served in the California Army National Guard during the Vietnam War time, an experience that gave him a deep sense of duty and respect for regular working people. These qualities would later show up strongly in the characters he played. Selleck's early years in Hollywood were not about becoming a star right away, but about keeping going and facing rejection. Throughout the 1970s, he was in commercials, small TV roles, and shows that did not last long. Even with his clear charisma and strong screen presence, big success stayed hard to get. Roles slipped away from him, including chances that could have stopped a less determined actor. Instead of getting bitter, Selleck kept working on his skills, learning patience and humility. Those early years gave him a love for steady jobs and a down-to-earth view of fame. That attitude would later make him different from many other stars during Hollywood's more flashy times. Everything changed in 1980 when Tom Selleck was picked to play Thomas Magnum in Magnum P.I. The role turned him into a worldwide star almost right away. As the relaxed, smart, quick-thinking private investigator living in Hawaii, Selleck added humor, brains, and real feelings to a character that could have been flat. Magnum's famous mustache, Hawaiian shirts, and Ferrari became big cultural signs. But it was Selleck's acting that gave the show its real heart. He showed Magnum as a guy full of opposites, charming yet hurt, confident yet open to pain, funny yet very loyal. The show ran for 8 seasons and became one of the most loved TV dramas ever. Selleck's work won him an Emmy Award and locked his spot in TV history. Importantly, he did not let himself get stuck in one type of role, carefully picking parts that let him grow, instead of just doing the same thing again. At the top of his TV fame, Selleck moved smoothly into movies. He showed he could be a romantic leading man in 3 Men and a Baby, which became one of the biggest money-making films of the 1980s. He went on to act in Mr. Baseball, In and Out, High Road to China, and Quigley Down Under. The last one showed his natural love for Western movies. Selleck's work in Westerns showed another side of who he was on screen. He brought realness, quiet power, and clear ideas about right and wrong to those stories, reminding people of old Hollywood stars while making the parts completely his own. His strong body and simple acting style fit perfectly with tales of honor, toughness, and fairness. In the 2000s, Tom Selleck came back to TV with fresh energy, taking on more grown-up and thoughtful roles. His role as police chief Jesse Stone in a bunch of made-for-TV movies became one of the most respected parts of his whole career. As Jesse Stone, Selleck gave a very human performance, full of flaws, deep thoughts, and quiet strength. Those movies let him look at ideas like being alone, doing what's right, and finding forgiveness, showing both the character's hard times and the wisdom Selleck had picked up over many years in the business. His work went beyond just acting. He helped decide how the character felt and grew, showing even more of his real artistic heart. During the 2007 to 2008 TV season, he stepped into the light in a big way with his repeating role as A.J. Cooper on the popular show Las Vegas. Set in the shiny, high-pressure world of Sin City, the show gave people a behind-the-scenes peek at casino workers whose job duties often mixed with their personal problems. As A.J. Cooper, he added real depth and believability to a guy dealing with huge pressures in a place where luxury, temptation, and danger always mixed together. Las Vegas was exciting with its fast stories, clever talking, and fancy looks. But really, it was a show about characters that looked at loyalty, wanting more, tough moral choices, and what happens from big decisions made super fast. His acting in that time brought a new energy to the group of actors, making the story richer with real feelings and honest details through plots about fights at work, right and wrong challenges, and relationships hurt by job demands. His part helped make the over-the-top casino world feel more human. In 2010, Selleck hit another big moment in his career when he was picked to play Frank Reagan, the dad and police commissioner in Blue Bloods. The role showed his seriousness, leadership, and strong sense of right and wrong, connecting deeply with fans who loved his picture of honest strength. As Frank Reagan, Selleck became a sign of steady leadership and sticking to what's right, holding the show together for more than 10 years. The show's success proved again his amazing skill at reaching viewers of all ages and backgrounds. From the early 1970s through the early 1980s, Tom Selleck's personal life happened quietly while his acting career slowly grew, showing a guy who valued commitment, family, and responsibility even before he got super famous. In 1971, Selleck married Jacqueline Ray, a fashion model and actress, back when he was still working hard to make it in Hollywood. Those were not the shiny, headline-filled years of being a superstar. Instead, they were full of tryouts, ad work, smaller parts, and the keeping-going spirit a young actor needs in a tricky business. During their 11-year marriage, which lasted until 1982, Ray gave him steadiness when his career was still unsure, and the couple lived a life mostly away from the strong public attention that would come later. One of the biggest and longest-lasting things from that marriage was Selleck's choice to adopt Jacqueline Ray's son, Kevin Shepard, who was born in 1966. The adoption was a strong way of showing Selleck believed in chosen family and real emotional care, proving he was ready to be a full dad instead of just a faraway figure. Kevin took Selleck's last name and was raised as his own son, a connection that went way past just papers. Even when Selleck's work got busier and the marriage ended, his promise to Kevin stayed rock solid, showing deep loyalty and love. Kevin Shepard later made his own path in the creative world, picking music over acting. He became the drummer for the American rock band Tonic, which had big success in the late 1990s with hits like If You Could Only See. Kevin's wins showed his own talent and the encouraging home he grew up in, one that pushed creative ideas and never giving up. Selleck has always been seen as a proud dad figure, quietly cheering for Kevin's work while letting him decide what success means for himself. After his first marriage ended and as his job life started changing in big ways, Selleck found love again in a way that felt surprising and really steadying. On August 7, 1987, at the top of his world fame from Magnum P.I., he married Jilly Joan Mack, an English actress and dancer born in 1957. The two met in Britain, where Mack was acting in the stage musical Cats. Their meeting was very different from usual Hollywood. A huge TV star pulled to someone outside the normal celebrity circle. Their bond was said to be quick and real, based more on shared beliefs and respect than on fame or position. Marrying Jilly Joan Mack was a huge change in Selleck's life. He worked hard to keep their relationship safe from celebrity stress, becoming very private and saying no to constant attention that often comes with being famous. This wish for privacy spread to their family life, which he kept far from Hollywood's bright lights on purpose. Instead of letting his career control everything personal, Selleck made careful choices to slow his work when needed, putting home stability and being there first. Their marriage got even stronger with the birth of their daughter Hannah on December 16, 1988. Being a dad in his 40s gave Selleck new purpose, and he often talked about how becoming a father later changed what mattered most to him. He was set on being there for Hannah's early years, famously pulling back from the biggest part of his TV fame, choosing family over non-stop career push, a choice that made him stand out in a business full of hard demands. Hannah Selleck grew up mostly protected from public eyes. She was raised with big focus on discipline, humility, and doing things yourself. She became a skilled competitive horse rider, getting praise in show jumping instead of going into acting like her dad. Her wins showed the values both parents taught: dedication, patience, and knowing real happiness comes from loving what you do and working hard, not from being famous. At 80 years old, Tom Selleck has reached a time in life where thinking back feels natural and being honest feels important. With years of experience behind him, Selleck has talked openly about his old relationships. And one of the longest-lasting and softly romantic ones is his connection to actress Sally Field. Even though their time together was short and quiet, it has stayed in Hollywood stories as one of those what-if tales. Two stars meeting just as their lives were about to change forever. Selleck and Field were together romantically around 1979, a key time in his personal life. He had just separated from his first wife, Jacqueline Ray, and was dealing with the unsure feelings that often come after a marriage ends. Looking back, Selleck has said that this changing time shaped how much he could give to something new. "I wasn't broken," he once said, "but I was still figuring out who I was outside of a marriage. That changes how you approach love." Into that moment came Sally Field, warm, smart, and already known to American viewers. Even though they never acted together in a big movie, Selleck and Field were in the same acting world through the 1970s. Both were part of a group of actors trying to move past early-type roles and show they could do deeper, longer-lasting work. Field had already become famous as the sweet girl next door in Gidget, and later as the fun, innocent nun in The Flying Nun. Selleck, meanwhile, spent years pushing through tryouts, ads, and short TV parts, fighting for the big break that always felt close, but not quite there. "We were both climbing," Selleck said. "The difference was she had already reached a plateau I was still aiming for." Their shared past even went back to funny pre-fame Hollywood moments, like being on shows like The Dating Game. They did not appear on the same episode, but the coincidence shows how close their paths were long before fate stepped in. "It's funny to think about," Selleck said with a smile. "You're young, you're hopeful, you're taking any job that comes. You have no idea which moments will matter later." By the time Selleck got the part of Thomas Magnum in Magnum P.I., everything flipped. The show did not just make him famous, it turned him into a huge cultural star almost overnight. With fame came crazy schedules, public watching, and work pressure that left little space for calm personal life. Field, meanwhile, was growing fast as an actress, soon winning big praise and Oscars for roles that broke her early TV image. "We were both moving fast," Selleck admitted. "Not away from each other exactly, but forward in different directions." There was no big fight, no scandal, and no hard feelings. Instead, their relationship ended quietly, because of bad timing more than anything else. Selleck has always talked about Field with lots of respect and warm feelings. "Sally is exactly who people think she is," he said kindly. "She's real, she's kind, and she's stronger than she ever shows." In a business often full of fake things, that realness stuck with him forever. Now, many years later, Selleck looks at their short romance not with sadness, but with thanks. It stands for a time in his life when everything felt possible, and the future was still open. "Some people come into your life for a season," he reflected. "They're not meant to stay forever, but they matter forever." For Tom Selleck and Sally Field, their story was never about lasting always. It was about perfect timing, shared dreams, and a bond that stays warmly remembered long after the lights moved on.